Hey guys, Dwindling Elves here, and welcome to Game 3 of ChaoLudik. I won my first two games, which put me against a Nurgle Demon Prince army. Now, I actually thought this army was really, really cool. So it was all Nurgle, and then his allies were Nurgle Demons. So I think this was the best theme I saw that day, and I really, really liked this army. So again, for Magic, Lore Master Hoth, the Book of Hoth, I've got the Warrior Priest with his bound spells as well. So he had a level 4 with Depth, so that was his Demon Prince, and he had Spirit Leech, Soul Blight, Doom and Darkness, and Purple Sun. So here's the deployment. So for this scenario, I had to deploy each of my units first, and it was the random deployment one. So if you roll a 1, you're on the left, a 2, you're on the right, 3, 4, or 5, you're in the middle, and 6 you could choose. So on my right, I have my 10 Empire Inner Circle Knights with Steel Standard, and behind them, out of shot, is my Eagle. Then in the center, I have my Phoenix Guard and my BSBs in there, and my White Lions, and I've got my my Lore Master in there, and next to them I have a Bolt Thrower. Now in this scenario, your allies were suspicious allies, which meant that I couldn't join the Warrior Priest with the White Lion unit. So I won't be getting Hatred, and the Warrior Priest is just going to be sitting in the back of the board doing nothing the entire game. Now on his side, up top, he rolled really, really unfortunately for his deployment as well. A lot of his entire army got completely spread out. So on top, he's got a unit of 20 Plague Bearers, and there's a Herald in there that gives him a 4-up regen. He's got a Nurgle Beast in front of a unit of 15 Warriors, and his BSB is in there, and they've got Mark and Nurgle and Halberds. Then another unit of 15 Warriors with Mark and Nurgle, Halberds, and full command. Then he's got a Hell Cannon. And then on my left side, I've got a Bolt Thrower, my unit of 28 Sea Guard, and then my 6 Silver Helms. This picture was taken after turn 1. And then up top, he's got, behind that dragon statue, he's got these level 4 Demon Prince of Nurgle, and I'm not sure what his gear was. He had a 2-up armor save, I think he had a Dispel Scroll, and he's got Soul Feeder as well, so he gets back wounds, or he potentially gets back wounds whenever he does them. And then he's got a unit of 7 Knights with full command and Mark and Nurgle up top as well. So I got first turn because I deployed first, he didn't roll a 6, so I fly my Eagle over behind my White Lions, and I swift reform my Empire Knights and walk them back to my side of the board. So what I'm going to do here is hopefully fight his army piecemeal. His Plague Bears aren't going to get anywhere near me for half the game. I think it'll take 4 turns to walk up to where I am. So they'll get into the combat turn 5, which is really unlucky, and I don't like this type of scenario where your arm you can really plan well and then everything gets ruined because your army is so spread out. So it really affected my opponent, which is unlucky for him. For me, it was a little bit better. I was able to not necessarily castle, but keep my lines together. Oh, and I've also got my cannon behind my lines there. So first turn, yeah, I know I can outrange him, and I don't want to get near his Demon Prince anytime soon, and I can delay him. So I want to fight his army piecemeal. So I just stay where I am for the most part. Then in the Magic phase, I do a big version of Shem's Burning Gaze on the Hell Cannon, and I get 2 wounds through. I do a 2d6 Fireball on these Warriors and put 1 wound on them. And then I miasma the Plague Bear's movement down to 2. So it was a pretty good Magic phase. So this means that these Plague Bears are not going to get into combat anytime soon, which really, really benefits me. Then in the shooting phase, my cannon takes the remaining wounds off the Hell Cannon. Yeah, the Hell Cannons are pretty easy to hit. They're on those giant bases, but it was nice to get that thing out of the way. I mean, my White Lions get a 2-up ward save against it because it counts as magical, and I guess my Phoenix Guard still get a 4-up ward, so maybe it wouldn't have done that much, but it's nice to take it off first turn. So his movement phase, he moves his Knights up tentatively. I guess he doesn't want to get charged by my Silver Helms, and he flies his Demon Prince over behind this obstacle, so I can't cannon him or shoot him with my Bolt Thrower. So he's pretty safe for the next turns. And he marches up as quickly as possible with the rest of his lines, but again, warriors are only movement 4, and they got stuck way in the other corner. His plague bearers only moved 4 inches, which is yeah, it's good for me. So in the magic phase, he rolls boxcars, and I think this is actually pretty cool with the Mean Demon book. I think that some people maybe don't like it because it slows the game down, but I really like this, and I think it's fluffy with the demons, and most of the time it doesn't do anything. But in this case, he grew 12 new plague bearers right next to my cannon. So I get to shoot one more time with my cannon before he obviously charges it, kills it. He casts Purple Sun. I let it go through because I'm not, I'm initiative 5, and I don't, I'm not worried about that. And it doesn't really, he rolls a 2, so it doesn't go very far, and it'll stay in play for the rest of the game. It's just that it never really moves. It just stays where it is, so it doesn't really affect the game. He casts Soul Blight on these knights, which also let through because I don't really care. I know I'm not going to charge these knights into his knights, and I'm just going to run away from his Demon Prince next turn. So High Elf turn 2. I move up my Phoenix Guard around that pillar so that they can still see the knights and then walk and then still charge around it. Conversely, they could also flank charge potentially those warriors next turn. I move my white lines up a little bit. We were treating these statues as dangerous terrain, so I didn't want to march through that. And I positioned my knights to countercharge his new Nurgle demon unit once they've destroyed my cannon. I know I've lost that cannon, so I don't want to move them up too far. So I think I made the overrun like a 9 or something for him, or a 10 for him to reach me, but it was a really easy charge for me to reach him when he does kill my cannon. So I back my bolt thrower up because I don't want it to get charged by those knights, and I think I back my my other guys up as well, my spearman up as well. I'm just going to shoot at him but do nothing, and I turn my silver helms around, and I'm going to be running away from that demon prince. And I move the eagle over here because I think he's probably, I don't know what I'm going to do with him yet, but I like him over on this side of the board rather than on the other side, because I think on the other side I can win combats. I don't need to redirect anything. So in the magic phase, I get the big version of Shemsburn and gaze off on the Nurgle beast, and I do 3 runes to it. And then, yeah, I think I failed to cast with, yeah, no, that's it. I failed to cast another spell with my Lore Master, and that pretty much ends the magic phase for me. So Warrior's turn 2, he keeps walking up as quickly as he can. He doesn't want to expose one of his warriors, so I think he's waiting for his battle line to come back. And on this side, he walks up as forward as fast as possible. I mean, I really can't threaten him with those spearmen. Just not enough. Yeah, strength 3, and he's got a 1-up armor save, so I'm not really going to do much against him. So he can walk over me with impunity on this flank. He casts Doom and Darkness on my Silver Helms, presumably so when he chair charges them next turn, they'll likely run off the board. But, I let it go through because I'm not really worried about this unit. If he's casting magic at a essentially throwaway unit, then it's saving my big units. Yeah, in the combat phase, as expected, the Plague Bearers make short work of the cannon. So High Elf turn 3, I charge my Empire Knights into his Plague Bearers on the bottom of the screen. I reform my Phoenix Guard to look at the flank of his Nurgle Knights and to maybe deal with the Demon Prince. So I need them to hold up that flank. I'm pretty confident that my White Lines can actually deal with those 3 blocks. White Lines are just that good. Especially the Plague Bearers, because I have a 2-up ward save against all their attacks. And of course my Knights, I expect my Knights to win, so they'll be supporting that flank as well. And here I have to make a decision. I could have sent in the Eagle to redirect, but then I would have gotten flank charged by the Demon Prince. So I figured, okay, if I charge him, I have 3 static combat res from ranks, 1 from a banner, and another one from a charge. So he has a banner, so I'll be up by 4. Maybe in the magic phase I can get some spells off that'll reduce his ability to kill me. And that was the plan. I figured I have a better shot at breaking them when I charge, as opposed to when I don't, because I've got +1 combat res and control of the magic phase. And then my Silverhelms pass their March test and run away from that Demon Prince as quickly as possible. And in the magic phase, I get 2 debuffs off, so I drop his weapon skill by 1, so he's down to weapon skill 4, and which means he's only hitting me on 4s instead of 3s. And then I drop his, I put an Ice Shard Blizzard on him as well, so he's only hitting me on 5s, and he's leadership 7, although that won't matter because he's in the range of the general. So, but it means he's only hitting me on 5, so that should help my Spearman out tremendously. All they need to do is hold for 2 turns, and then I can get a flank charge into the Phoenix Guard. So in this combat, I lose 1 knight, but yeah, wipe out the Plague Bearer unit, and I will just reform my guys. And in this combat, I actually get a sneak a wound through, which is nice, but obviously he goes to town on me and still kills a ton of my guys. I lose, but I'm steadfast, so we stick around. And Warrior's turn 3. So his Plague Beast charges my Bolt Thrower, and I know my Bolt Thrower is no longer long for this word. And then his 2 warrior units are just set up so that they can charge me next turn. Now I've got the dangerous terrain in front of my way, so he'll have to take maybe 8 or 9 dangerous terrain tests. So I might kill a few guys on the way in. In his magic phase, he casts Spirit Leech on my Bolt Thrower and one-shots it. And then we go to the combat phase, and I think he only does 4 wounds to me, which I thought was really, really lucky. So those 2 spells are really helping me because he's only hitting me on 5, so it's easy to fluff your attacks. He is still killing me on 2s, but yeah, you can't kill, but you can't hit. So I end up staying there, and then surprisingly, I don't do any wounds to the Nurgle Beast, but he only does 1 wound to me. And I'm in general and BSB range, and my Bolt Thrower sticks, which means my Knights can countercharge this beast next turn. So I countercharge the Phoenix Guard into the flank of the Nurgle Knights, and I charge the Empire Knights into the Nurgle Beast. Now we're like corner to corner, so I only get 2 attacks in, but the combat res should be enough to break him. And then I move my Knight, my Silverhelms over to support and countercharge when his Nurgle Warriors will charge into my White Lions next turn. I know that's an inevitability. I like my odds there. And even if I lose, I'm going to be stubborn. So I'll probably be able to countercharge with those Knights next turn. And then I fly my Eagle over this unit here. Just because I have nothing to do with him, and in the event that he breaks and runs away, he would actually. That's actually wrong. If he broke and ran away, he would flee from the Phoenix Guard, not the Spearman. So the Eagle's just not doing anything. So in the magic phase, I just get Ice Shard Blizzard off on them. I'm going to get the Miasma off, so they're just -1 to hit. But I'm really liking my odds here because I've got an extra 3 ranks and a flank and a charge. So the Phoenix Guard provide enough static combat rest, so no matter how many guys it kills, I think I should be okay. And, I'm still within BSB range, and I'll be stubborn. In the shooting phase, I take another 3 warriors off this left unit. I have the Reaver Bow, and I think I failed to shoot it the first 3 turns. So when I did remember to shoot it, I actually took some wounds off. So in the combat phase, yeah, so the Beast of Nurgle kills my Bolt Thrower as expected, and then I kill him. So I just reform with those Knights. They're a little bit close, and I was kind of worried that he was going to charge me with either the Plague Bearers or the second warrior unit. So they're in a vulnerable position, but I couldn't really do anything about that to change that. Then over here, he kills a ton of spearmen and he wins combat. I'm still steadfast with both units, and I actually get 1 wound through on another knight, so I'm slowly whittling them down. He's down to 5 guys, and he started with 7. But I hold. So then, Warrior's turn 4, his Demon Prince charges in. And this is actually in the magic phase. Yeah, sorry, the pictures are maybe a little bit out of sequence. So what he does is he casts Soul Blight irresistibly on the Phoenix Guard, and he puts a wound on 3 of my guys. So he's touching 3 or 4 of my guys, and he kills 3. So, that doesn't end up really mattering, because I know once that Demon Prince gets into the Spearmen, they're absolutely done. There's no hope for them anymore. And that's what ends up happening in the combat phase. He absolutely wipes out the Spearman unit, but it takes his Demon Prince out of combat, and he just chooses to hold with them. I don't know why he didn't overrun. I guess maybe he didn't think of it. And my Phoenix Guard don't do any wounds because they're strength and toughness 2 at the moment, but they manage to hold. And they don't take any wounds back because 4 forward saves are awesome. And he just reforms his knights. And actually, I think I killed the guy even with strength 2. I killed the guy, so that was nice. So he's down to 4 knights. And then over here, so his warriors charged in, and both units went into my white lines. So I'm happy that the second unit didn't go into my knights, because I think that would have just out of sheer combat res, that would have ended my knights. And I'm really surprised. I think he fluffed his attacks. He only killed 4 white lines. That seems very low to me. Although my lore master is in a challenge with his champion, and I kill his champion, so that takes some guys out, and then a couple of the otother guys could only attack the BSB, and he's got a 4 ward save, so that probably saved me some wounds as well. So in the end, he does 4 to me, and I do 7 to him. He has a charge. We both have BSBs, so I end up winning by a little bit because I've got extra static combat res and a few extra kills. And he breaks with both units. So I choose to pursue the larger unit because they're more points, and I know my knights, my silver helms, can catch the smaller fleeing unit, and it also puts me in a position to charge his plague bears next turn, which is just really, really bad for demons. I took the banner of the World Dragon, 1 to save me against my miscasts, 2 to make me immune to demon princes, which there were a lot of in this tournament, and then if I run into any types of demons, it's just an added bonus. So that's just a really, really bad matchup for the demons, and a great matchup for me. So I have turn 5. My silver helms charge the fleeing Nurgle warriors, and they catch them, and I just reform. I don't really have anything else these guys can do right now, but they've made their points back. I really, really like this unit. I make the easy charge into there. I lose a couple guys to the dangerous terrain test on the way in, but this is a really favorable combat for me, just because I have a 2 forward save against anything. And then my magic phase was also ridiculous. So I got Whison's Wild Form on my unit, and then I dropped his weapon skill, and I got Ice Shard Blizzard on him, so he's only hitting me on 6s, which are his poisons. So, he's rolling 6s to auto wound, but then I have 2 forward save, so I don't really, really care. So after combat, I do 3 wounds to him, and he does 1 wound to me. So he ends up having the 4-up regen. Oh, and I did 1 wound in the challenge. So my Lore Master is fighting his Herald, and I do 1 wound to him. He does none to me. So, yeah, he's got a 4-up regen. It's tough to get through that. He's making a lot of saves. And then after crumbling, he loses a couple more guys. But his unit sticks around. And on this side, this was a bit crazy. I still have Soul Blight up on me, but I think I make ward saves like a champ. I might lose 1 guy. I don't do anything to him, but I'm ahead by 3 ranks. So I think he was on a 7 or something, and he broke. And so I pursued. So his banner bearer is still there. We remove him next turn. And I pursue into his Demon Prince. So I figure, again, I know the Demon Prince is going to charge me, but if I charge him, I'm ahead 1 combat res instead of down 1 combat res. And I've always got that 4 ward save. So if I get lucky with my ward saves, I've got 5 extra. I start with 5 combat res, and I get lucky with my ward saves. he might not kill 5 guys, so I might win that one, at least this turn. So Warriors turn 5, he rallies his knights, and they're in an unfortunate position. They can't charge around the Demon Prince to get into that combat again, so they're pretty much out of the game. And then he gets Doom and Darkness off, and I think it was irresistible because this is the one spell I didn't want off, because I know I'm not going to kill him. But because he's got a 2-up armor save and then a 5-up ward, and it might have been a rerollable armor save, but I'm not sure. So I know I'm not going to kill him, so my only real hope is winning on combat res, which is unlikely, but really just being stubborn or steadfast. Leadership 9 is really what I was banking on. But Doom and Darkness went off with the irresistible force, and yeah, so that means now I'm steadfast in a 6 if I lose, which is really, really bad. It is a remains in play though, so I could get rid of it on my next turn. So in the combat phase, yeah, he kills 3 guys, so I don't know what the statistical average is, maybe 3 or 4 guys, so maybe I get a bit lucky there. But I still have 2 ranks, a charge, and a banner. So I actually end up winning this one by 1, so I don't have to worry about Doom and Darkness, which is really nice. So I've got 2 turns left, or 2 combat phases left to hold on here, and I think if anyone can do it, it's going to be my Phoenix Guard. So yeah, so after combat I reform to get more ranks, so go 5 wide instead of 6, and again, so this will give me 4 combat res off the bat. And in this turn, in this one, it's as expected. I have a lot of buffs and debuffs up, so I kill 5 more. He does nothing to me, and I think he loses 1 more on the crumbling. And then High Elf turn 6, so my magic phase isn't as awesome. I just get Ice Shard Blizzard off, so the -1 leadership is helping with his break tests. And then after combat, yeah, we delete the unit. I mean, this is just an unfair matchup. It's maybe poor game design that my banner does nothing against most armies. Maybe it saves me against characters with magical weapons, which is another reason I take it. But then if you face demons, it's a screw you to demons. So it's really unfortunate in this matchup, but I guess I'll take it. And then I'm an idiot, and I did this the entire tournament. Doom and Darkness remains in play. The card is on the table. There's no reason I shouldn't be dispelling this. It's not like it's hidden and I forgot about it. The card is right in front of me, and I don't use my power dice to dispel it, and I'm still a leadership 6. So this time he does 4 wounds to me and I do none to him, which means I have 2 ranks and a banner, and he has 4 kills, so I end up losing and I make my 6 up. This was super, super lucky on my part. I mean, 6 up isn't, well, it's like a 40% chance, I think. So yeah, that was lucky on my part, but just idiocy too on my luck saved me from my own stupidity. I really should have dispelled Doom and Darkness. And this ends up being the last shot of the game. He does not grind out my Phoenix Guard, and they end up sticking for the rest of the game. So yeah, so what's left on for him is what you see in this picture, and then I have the rest. I still have my Silver Helms, my Empire Knights, and my White Lions, and my Eagle. My Eagle was flying around somewhere just watching the game. He didn't do much for me, but he was MVP in a couple of games before, so yeah. So it ended up being a 21-4 victory for the High Elves. My army, everything really went my way, and everything that I wanted my army to do, they did. My combat blocks were very, very good for me this turn. Like, Phoenix Guard was supposed to be an anvil, and that's exactly what they did. They didn't die, and they didn't break. And my White Lions are very, very killy, and that's exactly what they did. They ate everything that ran into combat with them. And then obviously, White Lions with the Banner of the World Dragon against Nurgle Deamons. It's just unfair. Yeah, a 2-up ward save against any wounds he does really doesn't give him a chance. It was another poor showing for the Seaguard. These guys have done absolutely nothing for me this tournament, with the exception of game 1 where they ate some trebuchets. Let's say maybe save my elite blocks, but I'm really, really starting to not like how these guys are playing. I think, I gotta find a different solution for core. And yeah, so I think the scenario worked in my favor. I was able to get the matchups that I wanted, despite deploying first. But again, the random deployment really hurt my opponent. And I think I don't like this. I don't like the scenario because of that. Because you can plan your list and you set up your list in a specific way so that it synergizes and your units support itself. But my opponent really got shafted by the scenario. All these guys were spread out, and they were really, really far away, which meant that I could engage one unit at a time on my terms, which was unfortunate. But my opponent was a really great sport. We ended up drinking. This was an afternoon game, so we were drinking beers during the game, and he took it really well. I mean, he had some bad luck, and then the scenario screwed him, and he was really, really nice about this. So it was a great game against a great opponent. So I hope you guys enjoyed it.